Auditor General, this was a qualified opinion. We have already looked at the key highlights, and we shall deal with the things that, in your view, are still unaddressed. Let's go to the basis of your opinion. Auditor, please, you need to move with speed. Our intention was to be out of here by 2:30, but we need to move faster.
The first issue on the basis of opinion.
Just read it. Read your first issue there.
Variance between financial statement balances and integrated financial management information system, IFMIS report. Comparison of the financial statements and IFMIS report. The financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2024 reflect account balances that are at variance with the corresponding account balances generated from IFMIS, as summarized below. We have compensation of employees, which has a variance of 6.5 million. Use of goods and services, a variance of 65.5 million. Acquisition of assets, negative 19.2 million. Other payments, negative 64.5 million. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the respective payment amounts reflected in the statement of receipt and payment could not be confirmed.
And having considered Annex 1 and Annex 1B presented by the county, you are still, are you satisfied that those variances have been addressed, or what is your current position?
We have the adjusted trial balance, which has reconciled the variances. However, the supporting evidence in terms of journal vouchers explaining the variances, and also the authorization documents supporting the journal vouchers, which has not been annexed.
Because I don't want to spend the whole day here, and perhaps even live on TV, talking about IFMIS and trial balances, and yet we have projects that are gobbling up public resources. So, Governor, why can't your officers provide the JVs supporting the adjustments so that this matter can be resolved? You have done the adjustments, but the journal vouchers need to be presented, and the authorization. It's a very, very simple thing. Are they available?
They're available.
Governor,
if the auditor didn't see them, then they're not available. What is the CEC looking for?
They're checking whether they have them here.
They are available, but they are not here.
This is that they're available, but they're not here.
And this be provided to the Auditor General for verification? Because fine, you can do the adjustments, you can do the reconciliation, yes, but it's a JV that has the details on what to debit and credit.
They will provide them to the Auditor General.
Unfortunately, we don't have too much time, so I hope, and this is not one of those things where we say in 7 days. I think by tomorrow, your team and the Auditor General should look at those JVs, because we must report to the House by next week.
Noted, Chair.
Yeah, because if they are available, then my next question will be moot, because I was going to ask why then don't we have full harmony between IFMIS and financial statements. I was going to ask the question that I've asked you every time you've appeared before us. Why is IFMIS not working in county governments? But in this case, the auditor is saying that a reconciliation has been done and it's possible for IFMIS to tie with financial statements. Are there any other challenges that might be there?
Chair, the issue of the occurring issue of IFMIS and the financial statements is the issue of the closure of the financial year, where the financial statements are done as of 30th of June, whereas the system opening can be extended to July because of exchequer delays. Other than that, ideally it should be okay.
Okay, so we'll be keen to see that your update, Auditor General, so that we can be able to cite that there's one county where the financial statements and IFMIS balances tie. If a governor comes here and starts telling us stories, the way IFMIS doesn't work, we'll tell them to come to Kirinyaga and benchmark with Kirinyaga. Unless there's a further query on this, honourable members,
I just thought, Chair, that Treasury could have commented on this. That which is the Treasury that had not loaded all the CBK statements in the IFMIS as at 30th June. So what would be the remedy for this? Maybe National Treasury.
National Treasury, you have seen that part of the governor's
And taxes services payments.
The auditors had the list. That's why they made reference to it.
We are asking as Parliament, Article 2293 requires us to consider, debate and take appropriate action. That is our duty. The auditor has already discharged their mandate. We are now in a constitutional phase. So you cannot tell us the auditor saw it. Then why are we here? Unless we are here to waste each other's time.
And especially, Chair, we also needed to know even the schedule of the workers who are working beyond the stipulated time to warrant these allowances.
The list will be provided, Chair.
We do not have the luxury of time, again, because we must conclude this process by 31st of March. If by tomorrow, when we are adopting these minutes or adopting this report, that list has not been provided, this will be a surcharge. It will be considered as theft of public resources. Honourable members, we proceed to training expenses. Again, expenditure not supported. We have said in the past that where expenditure has not been supported at the time of audit, this committee is not going to be taking evidence. Because if evidence was not provided to the Auditor General and it's being brought to the Senate, it might as well have been forged or cooked. Now, Auditor General, under training expenses, you had cited about 7 vouchers, and you have told us that voucher number 2 and voucher number, is it 5 and 7 or 2 and 7, that have not been addressed?
2 and 5.
2 and 5. 2 and 5. That is list of participants to justify 600,000 and evidence of participants to justify 750,000. Governor, we are dealing with 1.3 million, so I hope we can do that in 1 minute. Could you tell us why voucher number 1111 and voucher number 3089, the required accountability has not been provided? Is it a statement of fact that those 2 vouchers, the supporting documentation has not been provided, Governor? There were 7. The auditor said they are happy with 5. Let's just drill down to the 2. And because it's, as I said, it's 1.3 million, let's not spend too much time on it.
It's provided in the Annex 3.
Annex 3 has the PVs for all the...
3B.
Auditor General, are you able to see that?
I don't have it.
Governor, you may tell us what 3B is all about.
3B
Is it B for boy or D for Dodoma?
B for boy.
3B.
It's a payment voucher for Beckham Hotel for 600,000. And 3E is also a payment voucher, the same hotel for 750,000.
Auditor General, starting with 3B, had you seen this before?
Yes, we have seen the one for 661,000.
Is this 660?
let's start with 3B. 3B of 600,000. Because you had said you had not seen the justification.
It's the one for 661. 661, not the one for 600.
So it's not 2 and 5, it is 1 and 5.
Yes.
Okay, so Governor, with the same efficiency, where's the PV for the 661?
It's in my file. I don't know whether it's in
As well as for the 750. Please, let's move fast. We have a hospital project worth 137 million to deal with. So 1.3 million should not take us too long.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, sorry, sir.
The payment voucher is there, but now the number of participants were different for whatever was invoiced. Like in that case, the number of participants were 162 in the invoice, but the number of participants in the attendance sheet was 136. So there was they were not fully supported.
You know, Governor, these are the things we dislike dealing with. You know, PVs of 600, PVs of 750, it even belittles the role of the Senate, because these are things of documentation. These guys flagged this matter in the management letter. This matter was in the draft audit report. And so if up to now the schedule of participants is not available, then it is what it is. It is an irregular charge on public funds. There's nothing we can cure here. And we don't find it very elegant, out of a total budget of 5 billion, spending 10 minutes on 1.3 million. Governor?
From my understanding from the auditor is that the list is available. Only on the list, you have less people than you expected. So you have 139 instead of 160.
136 instead of 162.
Instead of 162. So the list was not
Where
So
did
I
you get,
needed to clarify
under
that.
Governor, Auditor, where did you get 162 from?
We added up the list which is provided here in the various sheets for the various dates.
So according to your evidence, the evidence that you have seen, 162 people benefited from the training.
That's correct.
And the county has provided a schedule of 136.
136.
But the amount remains the same.
Yes.
Why do you have different evidence?
The 162 is in the invoice, which was paid, and then the supporting attendance sheet.
What's the average per capita cost?
2,500.
2,500. What was this? What activity was this, Governor?
This was 3,000.
Was it public participation? Was it reimbursements for training?
Training on the system, on the revenue management system for 5 days.
So maybe the question, Chair, is where did the other money go to? Because the invoice is for more people than the actual list of the people participated.
You know, these kind of queries, Governor, they do not, just a minute, Governor, they do not utilize our mental capacity properly. You know, you come all the way to Nairobi for us to count how many people were paid 2,500. It's a misuse of the Senate and the resources and the time of the Senate. These things should be dealt with at audit, at management letter level. By the time they come to Nairobi and they are unresolved, there should be no discussion. We should just be saying you paid money without accountability, you should be investigated and prosecuted. Surely, we really want, and you have seen our interaction has improved over the years. We want to talk about bigger policy issues, not counting how many people came into a meeting. And you know, it is very frustrating. So we either take the word of the Auditor General that this is an improper charge, or you tell us that you've got the proper list somewhere, present it to the Auditor General for them to advise us on the way forward. Because I don't think I went to school to come and deal with such issues. Between 162 and 136 being paid 2,500. Governor.
Okay. I will say the explanation that's given by the officer. He says when you book a venue, you say we are booking the venue for 160 people. If you come with 140, they still charge you for 160 because that is what they, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, so the people who attended the actual conference, the people who were trained, were
Governor, was that explanation given to the auditor at the time
Let me finish,
of
Chair,
audit?
please. Yeah.
Because
so that is what they should have explained to the auditor. The explanation to the auditor, they just gave the list of the people who attended, who are the 136, you know? And then the auditor said, but you're paying the hotel for 160, isn't it? Isn't it? So then he said you should have paid for 136. So the explanation of why you still pay for 160 is based on how you booked the venue. Because whether you utilize it or not, if you're booked and they had...
Auditor, was that explanation offered at the management letter level? Because I hear what you're saying. If it was explained, I believe the auditor is reasonable. This thing would not have come to Nairobi. So is it the first time you are hearing that explanation?
When I look at the response for management letter, it was not stated that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are generally not happy this afternoon.
I think, Chair, you put it very well when you started this conversation. I think there are really weighty issues that are awaiting our discussion on this county government. Why don't you just give a ruling on this matter, Chair, and we move on? Because clearly this is not the place where the management will explain the variances. There was opportunity to do that. It was not done.
Yeah, because the management response is the management hereby resubmits the list of participants, training, correspondence, and relevant supporting documents for review.
Chair, the governor is trying to introduce new evidence. I think in your response to the matter before us, which is not the right thing to do.
I think when you look at even the amounts involved, we will make a recommendation that administrative action needs to be taken internally. Because even if we talk of investigations, for 1.3 million, the cost of investigation would be even higher. So we'll be making recommendations on administrative action so that the Senate remains the Senate. The Senate cannot be the place where we are counting payment vouchers. This is a place where you talk about policy and big issues. So this one, we agree with the Auditor General as it is, but we'll be making proposals for administrative action and probably invocation of Section 62 of the Public Audit Act. Honourable members, can we proceed to aging analysis for payables? Now, lack of aging analysis for payables, we shall look at it alongside the other issue raised by the Auditor General, long outstanding pending bills, because it relates to the same thing. Auditor, what is your finding?
For lack of aging analysis, the financial statements reflect Kenya shillings 1,229,536,760 in respect of pending account payable balance as disclosed in Note 20.